Hello everyone, my name is Nairi Holmes and I plan to go over a range of topics today, including a teacher's ideal role in the classroom, my personal professional dispositions, and areas for improvement in those and exploration in those dispositions, how personal biases affect the ability to teach and learn, and how to overcome them. And then lastly, we are going to reflect on how I personally will uphold the academic and professional integrity required of prospective teaching candidates and teachers. So we're going to begin by talking about teacher support. So in supporting students, we have to be consistently prepared to encounter daily challenges with a spirit of grace and empathy. When it comes to planning, we really do have to focus on appropriate assessment and goals using data gathered to instruct the classroom structure and curriculum strategies. When we're talking about professionalism, that's arriving every day with an attitude that's ready to serve and instruct in a way that prioritizes the safety and independence of all stakeholders in the classroom setting and outside of it. When we're talking collaboration for advancement, it's between educators, and it's really about an imperative system that both on the campus and through research, individual research with oneself, you're ensuring that students are receiving both the best data and research-based instruction rather than off the whims of a personal opinion of an educator. So now I'm going to talk about my personal dispositions that I see as strengths. So for high expectations, I really believe that ambitious goals for learners and that recognize those learners' starting points are appropriate means to go about projecting and producing lifelong learners outside of the classroom as well. Respect for the diversity of others, I think, prioritizes and highlights the differences amongst students and their learning styles, which can in turn help other students who we don't necessarily usually see as diverse. Honesty, personally, I think honesty with students and educator stakeholders as well helps in advancing the craft for the person and for everyone involved, and also helps students be comfortable and safe in their learning environment. For compassion, I think really secondary students are at a certain point in their life where they need a lot of compassion, both inside and outside the classroom, whether that's if they're dealing with problems of becoming adults and becoming full people, or they're just necessarily struggling with their educational journey. And lastly, advocacy for the strengths. It's really important because lots of people slip through the cracks, and if educators aren't there to be a mentor and a sounding board for students, they kind of have to deal with those problems themselves, and it's really important that we are there as that stopgap. So some dispositions to improve. I want to talk about fairness. I want to focus really on letting students know that they're never being targeted in any way. For professional conduct, I think really personally punctuality is something that I really need to personally step up in. When it comes to reflection, just not being hard on myself in my reflection and being more vocal and seeking feedback. Curiosity, I think being able to learn how to present myself as the curious person so that people are more open to discussing the ideas that I find contrary, and sort of presenting myself in a way that makes people know that I'm open to receiving that. Dedication, I think just maintaining a positive attitude and being positive and overcoming challenges would be really great as a personal step up for me. Now that we've covered dispositions, I'm going to want to move into some discussion on biases and how they affect teaching and learning. So biases affect virtually every aspect of our day-to-day lives. However, as educators, we do have the responsibility to address and work on any biases that we may have. So biases relate to assumptions of intelligence, blindness to cultural differences, or other personal discrimination centered around race, gender, sexuality, socioeconomic, or political standing. And handling bias looks like addressing and recognizing areas for personal growth, and I think that's really what it comes down to for educators. So lastly, I want to spend some time talking about how I personally will ensure that I'm taking full responsibility to remain and promote academic and professional integrity. So honesty is one of the dispositions I spoke on. I think that's really important in integrity and in academic integrity, especially when making sure not to plagiarize, of course. Respect for the diversity of others, I think, is really important because you're bringing in so many different voices and recognizing individuals, and I think that's imperative in education. And high expectations, I think high expectations of myself and others promotes integrity and promotes looking at all situations as opportunities to step up and to be the best person you can in that situation. So I think that's a big part of ensuring integrity. So that's all I have for everyone today. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed hearing about my dispositions and how they would guide me on my journey. Thank you.